This one is brought to you by Flowdesk, the email marketing platform I use to run my own newsletter at Lion Creatives. If you've been putting off starting an email list or you're on a platform that just isn't working for you, Flowdesk is worth a look. The templates are beautiful, it's easy to use, and it's built for small business owners. Get 25% off your first year at flowdesk.com/c/Lion Creatives, but I'll make sure to drop the link in the show notes.
He literally just stopped what he was doing. He looked me in the eye and he's like, Mommy, if he can do it, I can do it too. And I think that's the story. That's the story that I shared.
Yeah.
And I had like women instantly say yes, they want to be part of this series. And I was like, okay, this is going somewhere. So
Yeah.
it's only been 5 months. And I've had 27 women come and like, I want to share my story with you. I know. I was like, I just realized that this week. And I was like, okay, this is important. This is impactful.
Welcome to This Might Get Creative, a Behind the Brand podcast by Lion Creatives. I'm Svenja Lion, and in each episode, I sit down with local business owners and entrepreneurs to share their stories, how they got started, what keeps them going, and what makes their business stand out. My goal? To help more amazing businesses be seen, supported, and celebrated. So grab your coffee, because this might just get creative. Welcome back to This Might Get Creative, a Behind the Brand podcast for business owners and entrepreneurs who want to pull back the curtain on branding, strategy, and what it takes to build something that lasts. I'm your host, Svenja Lion, brand strategist and creative director at Lion Creatives, and today's guest is a web designer, a copywriter, and a mom of 3. She built her business and turned it into a place where other women come to figure out how to show up online. Katie Eberman is the founder of Simply by Katie. She designs Squarespace websites and writes copy for women in business who want their site to do more. They wanted to attract the right clients and give them back some of their time. She works with what she calls helper women, therapists, coaches, mortgage brokers, real estate agents, anyone whose work is rooted in helping someone else. Today, we're talking about using your website as a tool, not a brochure, and what it takes to market your business in a way that doesn't make you want to throw your laptop across the room. Katie, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited.
Yes, me too. So before we go all into the details, let's talk a little bit about your backstory. So you went from stay-at-home mom to business owner. So tell us your story.
Yeah. So, oh my goodness, I think for me and a lot of women, my story starts with I became a mom. And I always like to say I was promoted to mom. And that's kind of when like my priorities changed. I couldn't imagine leaving my kids to go to work. But I also like had such big dreams and passions that I wanted to still pursue, and I still do. And I'm still figuring out kind of that balance, but I knew that I was like, okay, I need to figure out a way to make money from home that feels good. And it works with my skills. And so I started out as a virtual assistant way back in 2021. I had 2 young kids at home. So my youngest was just turning 1. And I actually, the way that I got into web design is I started designing my own website as a virtual assistant. I was like, well, everyone, that's how you look professional. And I want to look like a professional. And I don't have a lot of time to be marketing, for example. So it's like, I need to have a website I can send people to, or they can find me or whatever, all those things. I was like, I knew that was important right off the bat. And in doing that, I was like, oh, I love this. Like, I just love the design aspect. I love being creative and bringing that strategy in and being like, okay, where do I put like a call to action? And like, I just dove way deep. Like the kids would go to bed and I would just be watching videos and I took courses and I was like, I need to learn all about this. And then it's really kind of evolved now where I just want to share women's stories. And I think that's kind of become my mission in the last kind of 6 months here. I've kind of transitioned into copywriting and offering website copywriting because I was like, I just want women to feel like they're amazing and I can see how amazing they are. I can see how much work they're putting into their business because I'm also doing it. So I so understand what it feels like and how vulnerable it feels and how our journey, like our personal journey, is so connected to our business. And oftentimes when we're trying to write about our business or we're trying to talk about our business, it feels unnatural because we're talking about ourselves. We don't like talking about ourselves, most women, we want to help raise other people up. And I'm exactly the same way. I'm just kind of like, what? I had to talk about myself,
I know. Yeah. That's always the hard part. So, but let's back up a little bit more. So before you said you started as a virtual assistant, but what did you do before? Like before you even became the virtual
before
assistant?
all that. Yeah, before that. So before I was mom, I worked in kind of the corporate world. I got my degree in anthropology, actually. Which is actually very fitting. Now that I look back, I was like, I just love hearing stories. And I was like, wow, okay, who knew? And I was in a lot of different corporate roles in administration type of positions. I'm definitely someone who loves being part of a team and supporting and helping build towards, that dream or that mission collectively. So I did that for how many years? It was like 10 years before I had kids. Yeah. And actually my favorite job, I worked in an archaeology firm and it was the coolest job ever. I was like, okay, this is awesome.
So, but then you had the kids and then your view kind of shifted. Because I remember when, oh my God, that's like, my kids are old now. My oldest daughter just started driving. So,
oh my goodness.
But I know it's scary, but, like before, and I remember that shift before, that's what you want to do. You work in an office, you go work for someone else, and then you have the kids, and then all of a sudden it totally shifts to, well, I don't want to do that anymore because that doesn't really fit. And of course, I'm so glad that daycare exists, but it's also like to send your children to someone else to take care so that you make the money to pay for that part. Like, yes. So anyways, long story short, I didn't like it either anymore. Yes. So then you transitioned to virtual assistant, and that was because you had experience with,
Yeah, so because I came from the corporate world, I already knew I had those skills. And I was like, okay, I can support small business owners in doing those different admin work. I actually still work with one of the same clients that I started with 4 years ago, and we're still working together. And so it's been a really cool experience to be able to help it's mostly been women, to be honest, that I've kind of worked with. I just gravitated to that. I think I just understand what they're going through. And I feel like when I work with women, it's like we're building something different for ourselves. We're building a different path for ourselves. A lot of the times it is around our family life, or it's because we have these just huge goals and they kind of go outside of that traditional route, whether, they want to just have their own business or they want to have their own impact outside of I like to say, like, what we feel like we should be doing. We should be getting a job or we should have this 9 to 5. But I'm just learning as I'm talking to more and more women entrepreneurs too, that there's not it's not either or. Like, it's okay to go back to work. Sometimes if that feels like the right fit with you, do you know what am I trying to say? I feel like I felt like I had to be full-time entrepreneur to be considered an entrepreneur. But now I'm realizing like that's just not true. Like, you can do it on the side. Like, you can build your life the way that you want it. And so I think in talking to more women, I'm giving myself also that permission. It's like, what feels good for me right now in my business or in my life? Like, what skills do I need to build? Okay, maybe that is something that I can learn in the corporate world for a little bit. Okay. And it's okay to go back and forth. And I had to also learn, like, my kids are in daycare. But it took me a long time to be okay with that, to be honest. I'd be like, but I'm their mom. I'm supposed to be taking care of them.
Yeah.
And now that I see them, they've been in daycare for about 2 years now. I see just like, okay, they're making a lot of friends and they're able to trust and build relationships with other adults that aren't me. And it just takes off a little bit of pressure for me that it's like, I'm supported and it's okay to have that support. And so I feel like I still want women to feel guilty, whatever choice that they make. I feel like it's all the right answer if it feels good to you. Yeah.
Yeah. So then, 2021, I think that's when you started to launch your web design business. Back then, still now, that's a very crowded place. So how did you position yourself then versus today?
Totally. When I first started, I was like, everyone was telling me I need to niche. The courses I'm taking, like, you need to niche. That's kind of how you grow your business. I was like, no, I don't need to niche. I'll just market myself as like I work with all women in business, or like all small business owners. And I'm going to say it was a challenge, because I felt like I had to work harder, because I had to explain who I really work with. Like, but like I'd be on a call to be like, but can you help me? Like, is there experience with me? Because I wasn't specifically saying like, I work with women with business, or I work with women who help other women, or I work with service-based businesses. Like, I was too afraid for whatever reason when I first started to like say that. I think I was scared of like close off opportunities for other people to come and work with me. But then as I've gone on, I was like, oh, okay, no, these are the women that I really love working. I just love their mission, and I love their story, and I just love to get to know them as we work together. And my favorite time is actually launch day, when we get on a call together, we go through the website, show them a little bit behind the scenes, because a lot of times they actually haven't even been in Squarespace, or they've been too afraid to go behind the scenes, the back end. And then I just like to make it feel really approachable. And I'm like, okay, so these are the main things that you're going to want to look for. Squarespace is always changing. If that happens, I'm always here for you as a resource. They'll change a button randomly, and you can't find that one setting. And then when we launch, I think that's the best part. Like, on the call, we'll count down 3, 2, 1, launch. And it just feels like this huge, like, we did it. You're out in the world. Your message is out there. And honestly, then the real work starts, because you got to send people to the website and all of that. So it's like just this beautiful tool, though, to use in your marketing.
Yes. What you mentioned with the niching down, and I think that's and I totally open. I had that issue too, where you're like, okay, I can do this. I can create business cards. I can work on a Squarespace site. I can work on for anyone. I mean, why would you niche yourself down? But then after a while, I feel, or I think that's the case, people want to be seen, like you said. They want to be seen in your work. Like they want to know that you understand their business. And if you're a jack of all trades, you might be good at everything, but you're not an expert in that one thing.
Yeah.
And by niching down and really knowing who you would like to attract and who you would like to work with and who your best clients are, then you're not losing, you're winning in the end, because you attract the people where you are the expert and you can really help them. But it takes time to learn that when you just start out, because like you said, you're afraid that you might lose out. But I think everybody has to go through that, because otherwise, how would you know where you, like, what's that one niche that you're really good at? Totally. You kind of have to put the work in. And you have to I think everybody has to figure that out.
Right. It's definitely like trial and error, and giving yourself the grace to like try different things and be like, okay, no, I really don't like that industry, for example, or I really need to, for me, it's been like, okay, my process wasn't working, or I wasn't communicating clearly enough, one aspect, for example. And I also feel like when you niche down and you attract those clients, the work just becomes just that much more fulfilling and exciting on like both sides, all sides.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And maybe you're running into this as well, but a lot of people, they start their own business and, okay, I need a website, I need a logo. And then they're, that process is being rushed, because that's something that you need to do in order to get to where you want to go. So the website in the end kind of looks cluttered, or the website looks more like a business card, and it's not really working for you. And you talk about that the website should be a tool that works 24/7. And like, what's the difference? What's the process of, getting it from the business card to being a tool?
Totally. I think that having a goal for your website or two goals for your website is really important. It can't just be like, oh, I just need a website. Like that can't be a goal, because then it is going to look just like everybody else, or it's going to be generic, or it's going to be really missing your personality. And honestly, I don't feel like it's really going to convert for you. And so that's hard, because a lot of, especially women in business, when they're first starting out, they're like, I just need a website. And then I'm like, okay, let's go a little deeper here. Like, why do you want a website? Does it feel like you need to have it because that's what you hear? Or like, let's go a little bit deeper into that. And a lot of times it is, like, I don't like being on social media. I don't want to market solely on there. I want to have a place to send people that looks professional. Okay, we're going somewhere with that, like I am totally behind that. Yes, let's do that. And then also a lot of women are like, okay, they want to build like an email list, or they have freebies, or they're building a community, they're building something. And that's where I get really passionate, because there's just so many tools and ways that you can make your website connect with people then. And there's a flow that we can come up with. I'm really about strategy. So I love the design aspect. All my designs are just really simple, classic, elegant, and modern. They're going to be with something you can look at in 5 years and be like, okay, it still works. But I really love the strategy piece. So I look at, okay, these are your goals. This is what you want to achieve with your website in, say, the next year. Say it's an income goal. They want to reach 50K in their business, 100K, whatever it is. Okay, there's ways that we can build your website so that you can reach those goals. So we bring in that strategy piece. We look at how visitors to their website would be interacting with their website. So what are they looking for when they come? What answers or what questions are they coming to you with? How do we answer that right away that captures their attention? So they're like, well, I have to work with this person. And I think also what's really important to that design aspect is the copywriting, is the words on there, because that's your personality. And it's like such a way to create an instant connection, and not being afraid to be like more bold with your messaging and saying like, this is who I help and this is how I help you. And like make that clear right off the bat, because people aren't going to search for how to work with you. And I've had to trial and error that on my own website. Like I've had to,
Oh yeah.
Like I had pages and pages and so long, and I'm putting all these things in there, and buttons and call to actions and sections. And I'm just like, even me, I'm like, I don't even want to go on there. Like it's just too much. And it's like less is more also when it comes to the copywriting. Like it needs to be very clear, to the point, and have your personality. And that's why people are going to work with you, because they know about you. Maybe they know a little bit about your background or why you got into entrepreneurship, or they can see that you understand their journey. A lot of times that's why they're going to go with you, and they're going to book a call with you, or they're going to go for it. And so that's what I really love to bring in. It's like, let's bring your story forward. Let's get your personality out there, because you're amazing. Let's let women know how amazing you are. Yeah.
And so what's your process in the copywriting? Are you helping them write it themselves? So kind of walking them through what they should be writing about, or are you writing the copy?
So it's actually kind of stemmed from my blog series. So I have a blog series, Women Who Inspire Me, where very much like you, I'm featuring, it's more women in business who are also moms usually, but just sharing their journey of entrepreneurship. And so how that started is I have a conversation with them, and then I write up a blog, and then it goes live, sort of thing. And like the feedback that I've gotten from that is like, wow, like, I don't know how you got that from our conversation, but like, this is amazing. Or we were talking about, like, I needed to hear that message again. That part's been really cool. I'm like, okay, me too. I needed to hear that too. Yeah. So it stems from that. I love just sitting down and having conversations with women. So I ask them the questions that I need to know to be able to write the copy for them. So we do that. We have the conversation, and then I write it for them and send it to them, and then together we kind of edit, tweak it, and get it to a place where it feels like it, and it sounds like them, and they're like, "Yes, this is me." I'm so excited to get it out there.
That's very cool. So where do you have the blog? It's on your website, or is it a special?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have it on my website.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'm going to make sure to link it in the show notes.
Yes, I highly recommend just reading through a few of the stories, because it's just really nice to have a place to go where there's women doing what we're doing, and you can hear their journey. A lot of times it starts with them sharing something that happened in their journeys where they had to pivot. Like for me, I had kids, and it was also COVID. And actually, a lot of us, COVID, it has been like such a major force for a lot of women going into business, or they were in a corporate job for a really, really long time because it felt like they should be doing it, and it just didn't feel aligned anymore. And so they pivot, or they had a health scare. And so it's really cool to see women's experiences, real experiences, and it's not sugar coated, but it's like, this is actually what it's like, and you can still go after your dreams. Those hardships don't set you back. They're just part of the journey. And I see myself in each of the women's stories, and I'm like, wow, it's very healing. I'm going to say it's very healing.
Yeah. If you're a business owner and you've ever wondered why your brand isn't pulling its weight, I built something for you. It's called the Brand Audit Scorecard, and it's completely free. 10 questions, takes about 5 minutes, and it'll show you exactly where your brand is strong and where it's losing you clients. You can grab it at linecreatives.com/brand audit scorecard, and the link is in the show notes. All right, let's get back to it. Okay, so the user journey of the website, because that's basically what we're talking about with the copywriting and also the strategy behind building a website in general. Because that's what I also notice a lot, that if you just build your website just to have a website, that user journey is not on top of mind. You're basically just really putting something out there. Hey, this is what I do. Look what I do. Look what I do. But if you keep the user in mind, and maybe also your target audience, not maybe, definitely your target audience, you understand, like you said, what they're looking for. And then you build on the website, you build this user journey so that you guide them through the whole process, so that in the end, they do most likely do the things that you want them to do, whatever it is, book a call, buy a product, or sign up for your newsletter, whatever it is. But sometimes you just need someone to walk you through this process. And I think that's what you're doing with with the copywriting and everything, because they need to be clear who their target audience is, how they would like to attract them, and what is the process actually to talk to them. So I think that it's a very important part. And that also copywriting, of course, brings me to the most popular topic right now, AI, where everything just sounds the same. And we talked about that during our pre-call. And but copy on the website needs to be different to all the content that's out there. And how do you work with that? Because I'm pretty sure that some people come to you with AI written content or something like that.
Yeah, that's very common, especially right now. And I'm guilty of it. Like, I've tried it on my own website. I was like, okay, let's see it. Okay. I went into chat. Okay, this is how I want to sound. Okay, you know me. Okay, you know my business. Look, I trust you. And actually, I had another designer friend look at my website after I did that, and she's like, that doesn't sound like you. And and then she saw a section I didn't change because I really liked it. She's like, that sounds more like you. And I was like, interesting. Like, yeah, I did use chat on there. And she's like, yeah, I mean, like, it sounds good, but it doesn't sound like you. And it doesn't sound very compelling. Like, it sounds kind of like, I don't know what it said exactly. But it just sounded very jargony, or it was just missing some emotion behind it. I was like, I build websites for women in business. I don't know. It's something something like that, But I really like to bring the emotion behind it. It's like, let's really solve someone's problem when they come. So I like to think about, let's talk about that user journey a little bit. Before they're coming onto your website, what's usually happening? Like, what are they searching in Google? Are they finding you on Instagram? Or maybe it's like a podcast, just like us. Like they're wanting to learn tips about their website or copywriting to sound more like them online. And I also know from personal experience and just talking with them, and they're like, I'm not a writer, or like, I don't know how to talk about myself. Like that feels weird. That doesn't feel right. Like, so they'll like talk a lot in third person. Or it's like, we are our own worst critic. And then when it comes to writing about what we do, and our businesses are so personal, let's just be honest, they are our heart, really. And so it's hard to talk about that and communicate it in a way that makes sense, that isn't like, oh, well, this is what I do. It's always very technical when we explain what we do, you know? But when we have someone else come in, and I think that's why we actually turn to ChatGPT, is just, or any of them, we don't know what to say. We don't know how to explain ourselves in a way that connects with other people. And I think that, like, I love using AI in a sense of giving me ideas. I'll ask it, can you prompt me to write something? Like, I need to write a really great headline, but I want to write it myself. But I just need some prompts or some ideas to kind of get me started. And then I'll just kind of go from there. It's just like a creative process, just like designing a website. But I think just pulling in a little bit of your personality and your story in there is really what, like, chat can't do that. Like, it doesn't really know that human experience of what it actually feels like to build a business, you know, what it feels like to pick up your kids maybe. And you're also trying to get on calls, or like just last week, I had a meeting and I had daycare call me and they're like, you need to come pick up your son. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, I got 20 minutes. I'm running. So like, I still made it back to the meeting. Oh. But like, I don't know how I did it. I raced, got my computer started. Yeah. But it's like, just knowing that we're human, like we're humans and we're building something and we're passionate, and letting that passion come through. And I think what really spurred me to want to offer website copywriting was because of the blog series and the way that women were responding to how I was representing back to them. Like I can see the magic in what they do, and I want them to see that back. Yeah.
And it's easy for someone else like yourself to do that for someone. Yeah. Because like you said, it's so hard to talk about yourself and to put into words, because it feels like you're bragging or not finding the right words. And then it always sounds cheesy. And if AI writes it, it's neutral. It's like, that actually, that sounds pretty good. But like you said, what it's missing is the spice behind it. It's I
like that.
It's like, what makes you different? Because AI writes so that you sound like everybody else. Mm-hmm. But if you put your own emotions behind it and your little personality, your own personality, it's not little, but like sprinkle it in. Are you fun or are you more serious? Are you corporate or are you artsy? It's like, and if ChatGPT just sounds the same all the time. Yeah. And I think if you take whatever ChatGPT creates, you can take that as a template. Totally. And then rewrite it and put yourself into it. Totally. And so AI is not bad.
No,
AI is a very good tool. But you need to modify it. You can't just take it. We also talked about during our pre-call that you felt like that you had to perform in your marketing, speak a certain way, be technical or sound like an expert. So what changed?
Yeah. So I've been blogging. It's almost been a year now, because I was like, I want to get organic traffic to my website without being on social media all the time. That was honestly my main driver.
Yeah, understandable. Right?
And so I knew all the things. I knew I had to have keywords. I knew that I should probably be talking about Squarespace and like how to design a website and all the text stuff. And I did that for 6 months. And then I reached a point where I was like, I'm so bored of this. I don't want to do this anymore. I feel so boring. This isn't really like, it's really important. I do believe that, but I don't want to talk about it. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather people come to me and I solve it for them. They ask me a question and it's interactive, you know? I'm very tutorial style too. I'm like, okay, you want to connect ConvertKit or you want to connect whatever to your website. Okay, this is how you do it. Here's pictures. Because that's just how I really am. I'm like, I like to walk people through the process. I did enjoy those ones, but not every single blog post could be that. And I actually went to, I think we talked about this, but I went to my first ever like business conference, and it was a woman in business conference here in Edmonton. It was called Trailblazer Live, and it was like life-changing experience for me because I've never been in a room full of other women entrepreneurs. I've always just done it on my own, like at home with the kids, figuring it out. And I was like, I felt like I was just so, my experience felt so unique. I was like, nobody else understands what I'm doing, what I'm building. Who do I bounce ideas off of? They're always just swirling around in my head. And so when I was there, it was just such a beautiful community that Selena Gray is her name. She organized this whole event. But women were like getting up and they were talking about their experience in entrepreneurship. And they were just so real about it. They were like, this is what I've experienced. Yes, it's hard, but I'm going to keep going. And like just being seen in that room, I just had this, I don't know, nudge. I was like, I left there being like, I need to share women's stories. And I was like, I don't know what that means. But anyways, we had a pop-up group after. I was like, how does this connect to anything that I'm doing? Like it doesn't, because I was just doing web design at the time. I was like, okay, whatever. I'm just going to do it. It can't hurt. If anything, I get to have cool conversations and I get to connect. And when you're an entrepreneur and you're working from home, it's like, you don't really connect with anyone. You don't talk to anyone.
Especially as a designer. You're very comfortable behind your screen and it's like, oh, it's nice here.
Totally. Exactly. And, so there was a pop-up Facebook group after there, and I asked Selena, I was like, can I post in the group and just say, like, I'm looking for women to come share their stories. I think I shared my own story of like coming home from the event that night, and I was tucking my boys in bed, and I was like, you won't believe what mommy did today. Like I played with fire, and I made 120 new friends, and all this stuff, and so I shared that story, and I think I also shared I was having lunch with my son a couple days after that, and he started talking to me about a YouTube channel he was watching. I don't know, he was always watching, say, about like Mario tutorials or like video game tutorials, Zelda, and sometimes he watches one about just different pets. And he literally just stopped what he was doing. He looked me in the eye and he's like, Mommy, if he can do it, I can do it too. And I think that's the story. That's the story that I shared. Yeah. And I had like women instantly say, yes, they want to be part of this series. And I was like, okay, this is going somewhere. So yeah, it's only been 5 months and I've had 27 women come and like, I want to share my story with you. I know. I was like, I just realized that this week. And I was like, okay, this is important. This is impactful. Yeah. So now that's my marketing. Quote unquote. It's like, I'm just sharing other women's stories of entrepreneurship and I'm using my skills of writing to show the world how amazing they are and to like just exactly what we were talking about. So it's kind of just evolved into its own kind of ecosystem that I absolutely love. I keep saying, like, if I could just talk to them and share their stories forever, I'd be the happiest person on earth.
Yeah. And I think that's when you know what you're good at. And that's coming back to what we said at the beginning. You niche down. You find your voice. You find your passion and what you're really good at. And that's when it takes off. Yeah. So I think that's it's an important part to remember, that not just because you read a book about marketing and that's what you have to do, so you go email blasts, I don't know what else you can do, social media posts and all that. You just do whatever other people do. I don't think you're getting somewhere. If you find something that you're really passionate about and that you really want to do, there will be a way to incorporate that into your business and to make it stand out, to make it different, because that's, that's your unique selling point.
And then you don't feel like you're performing. To kind of go back to your question a little bit, when I was writing before, it just felt very performative. I was like, I'm supposed to sound this way. I'm supposed to be an expert. I'm supposed to be like this. And it just drained the fun right out of it. And so now I'm like really in this place in my business. It was like, I'm not performing anymore. I'm just me. Yeah. And I'm going to attract those women who want to work with me or be in my circle or be in my community. And that's so much more beautiful than feeling like I have to like have a mask on or feel like I'm this expert, because I don't know everything obviously about web design or copywriting, but I'm willing to figure it out if I don't know. And I think that just bringing that human part into it is really important, to be honest. It's like, we're all just humans trying to figure this out. I'm really good at this and I can support you in it. And and just being okay with that. It's like,
And why Squarespace?
For me, I tried a few different ones. Like I tried WordPress and I was scared. To be honest. I was like, I don't get it. This is honestly the real answer. And at that point I was like, I don't know if I really want to invest the time in learning this tool. So I tried some different tools because I was really looking for something that was user friendly, that I could update easily, and that would look the way that I wanted it to. Like I didn't want it to look like a template, but I did want it to have just like those basic elements, like it's SEO, the setup for SEO, it's got all the security things. I can work off a template if I want to. And I just liked that I didn't have to think about plugins and all that stuff is all in there. And if I wanted to code, I could code, all that kind of stuff. And so I find out with a lot of women that I work with, they all are also choosing Squarespace because of that. The usability, they can, after I design and I offboard it, like they can go in and make small changes and they don't feel overwhelmed. And then, and then I like also that SEO part. And if you want to blog, like it's just as good as WordPress or any of the other ones, because I know that can be a concern sometimes. And I have nothing against WordPress either. That's just
I understand where you're coming from. So Squarespace, and especially the businesses that you're working with, they need to be able to go in and do it themselves. And yes, I mean, I only work with WordPress, but I do refer to Squarespace designers if there's someone who just needs to have something easy for themselves without being scared to break the whole site. And I broke my total open here. I broke my site so many times, and I don't even know what I did. I just clicked to update a plugin, and then all of a sudden the site was like all scrambled. I mean, I know how to fix it, but if I wouldn't know how to fix it, I would be mortified.
Yeah. So, and it'd be so overwhelming. You're like, I'm never going in there again.
Yeah. And so Squarespace is really good for that. So, and especially if you just get started. If it does have its limitations, so if you're growing to a certain point, you might want to think about moving to WordPress. Or now there's this new Webflow. It's also pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah. But it's that learning curve, and where you said, do I really want to learn it now? I'm really comfortable here.
Yeah.
Maybe. I have to test it out.
Totally.
But I also have someone that I would work with if someone wanted to have a Webflow site, So, but there's always going to be something new, something seemingly better. But it all depends on what kind of business you have.
Totally.
For someone who's listening and they are about to start their business, or they're thinking about starting their own business, what are your tips, what they should do? Because, Squarespace, you can just go in and create your own site. You can be pretty fast. But what's your take on this? Should they hire a designer? Should they just start it and then hire a designer? What's your take?
Yeah, I think it really depends. Like if you know what your main offer is and you know your niche and you have all that down and maybe it's more of a budget thing and you do want to work with a designer maybe down the road, I would still say you could totally build your own website, go on that Squarespace, go on and try and test it and for yourself. But it's also one of those things where it's like, do you have the bandwidth to learn a new tool? Are you a designer? Do you enjoy doing that? And then it kind of also comes back to you want to make sure that it's user friendly and it's going to lead people where you want them to go. So you have to keep that in mind too. So I have nothing against people wanting to get their own website up there, you know. I even answer questions and be like, okay, look for a template that has this, or
Yeah.
Um but yeah, if you're just starting out and you're looking for a website, I would say, yeah, it just really depends. If you don't even want to take it on and you don't have the budget, just wait until you can, and just interview different designers, see what their design style is like and how it would be to work with them and what's included. Because some people just do the website, like the design and strategy, and then maybe you have to hire a copywriter or you have to write it yourself. And then there's also the SEO piece.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's a lot of pieces that go into building a website. It's not so as simple as like, I'm just going to build it, because that's exactly what I thought. And honestly, my first website really sucked. When I look back at it,
Yeah.
it's like, I can't believe I had that out there. But, so I don't know. It depends. It really depends.
Yeah. And it also depends, like you said, it depends on the budget. But sometimes, and that's, I think, where we all fall into a little bit in that trap, where because we have the option to do it ourselves, we just do it. And I mean, I can fix, I mean, there's YouTube videos out there that tell me how to fix my HVAC system.
Yeah.
Does that mean I should do it? Probably not, because someone else has more knowledge and they can do it way faster without breaking stuff than I would. And but that depends. If you have a budget to do it, I highly recommend to hire someone who knows how to do it and that also can guide you through the strategy. And that's exactly what we talked about at the beginning, because it's easier for someone else to put your story into words and into a design than it is for yourself, because you might just get lost in the little weeds. Yeah. But so a little bit about this podcast. So starting this podcast was a big leap for me, because I didn't mention that in a couple episodes, but I always wanted to do it, but I was never brave enough to do it. What was one big leap for you?
Oh, okay. Oh, I like this question. Honestly, I'm going to say being comfortable to actually talk about my business. So like, honestly, starting the blog series, like I always knew I wanted to blog, wasn't as big as a leap as I thought. I think me being more comfortable, like doing things like this, like going out and talking about my business and about me and my passion, I think that's been the biggest leap. It's like, okay, I can't just hide behind my screen, even though I'm comfortable back here. I really just need to feel comfortable with that uncomfortable feeling of really talking about what I do confidently and being like, yeah, I am good at this. Yeah.
It's awesome. And do you have a marketing challenge that you're still working through?
Yeah, I think I'm still just kind of testing out where my women are. I'm like, okay, are they hanging out on Instagram? Are they on, are they listening to podcasts? Are they in Facebook groups? So I'm still kind of like figuring that part out and really just like inviting them into my world in a way that feels very natural. And like, I think for me, just getting over this fear of inviting people and then being I think it's more like around that courage piece in the business. Like to grow the business, I have to ask for what I want. I have to ask for women to come, for example, be on my blog series, or I have to let them know what I'm actually working on behind the scenes, so people know that, say I'm a Squarespace designer, but maybe they don't know I do copywriting. So it's just more me being more confident going out and being like, this is what I do, and I'm good at
Yeah.
it. And like, so I think that would be my marketing challenge, is just like saying it more, doing it every day, getting more comfortable with that. And also just inviting people like, oh, do you want a website on it? You're doing all these podcasts or you're on blogs. Let's just make sure your website isn't like leaking, or people know what to do once they land on you, because we want you to make money. We want you to fund this mission and, have impact out in the world. And so it's just me really stepping out of that. I'm behind my screen. I'm a designer, and being like out in the world, I think is really what it is.
A good way. And I think, I've been talking about that on the podcast as well, is joining networking groups. Join as many networking groups as you can, because they force you to come out from behind the screen.
They do. And say what you do.
Yes. And I do know how comfortable it feels behind the three screens that I have here.
Right.
But also, on the other hand, if you go out and you meet with people, and you meet on a regular basis with more people, people get to know you, people know what you're doing. And then you're starting to create this referral network, and a network of people that, where you can build your own team, you can build your, partners and things like that. And I think that's an important part. And I would highly recommend that everybody does that.
Totally.
And does not just rely on social media.
Yeah, that's a game changer, actually. I'm glad you brought that up, because even in my own business the last 6 months, I've really been like, okay, I need to be in more spaces where other businesses are. I need to be uncomfortable and talk, and I need to like support other business owners too, and like learn about them and then connect to them. And I feel like that's just such a natural way to build your business. It's just meeting people, getting to know them, listening to what they're doing, and then in your mind think of like, how can I connect to them with someone in my network? Or I love that.
Absolutely. All right. So if there's women out there that would like to share their story, where can they get in touch with you?
Totally. So I'm on Instagram. It's at Simply by Katie. But also on my website, it's www.simplybykatie.com. I have the blog's there, so highly recommend just binge through there. There's about 6 stories on there right now. And then if they want to be part of the series, I would love it. And there's an application on my website. When you're in a story, you can apply at the very bottom.
Awesome. And social media, Instagram, Facebook, and are you on Facebook?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. I think it's the same, Simply by Katie. And I'm on LinkedIn if you really want to go there too. And it's just my name, Katie Eberman, on there.
Okay. Awesome. That was, wow, time flies, because now we're already at the end. And, but I love this conversation. And I love that you're bringing a voice to all the women out there. And I will make sure to link everything in the show notes. And I hope everyone, follows along, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye. Thanks for listening to This Might Get Creative, a Behind the Brand podcast by Lion Creatives. If you enjoyed this episode, follow the show and share it with someone who loves discovering local businesses and creative entrepreneurs. You can learn more about my work at lioncreatives.com, or find me on Instagram, lion.creatives, and LinkedIn at Lion Creatives. Until next time, keep showing up, keep creating, and keep getting seen.